welcome back. Here is our last case study number 30 from CA Final ICA booklet on MCQs and case-based scenarios of paper 3. Okay. Kai Private Limited is involved in the wholesale business of vegetables across various cities of India. The company delivers all the orders using its own vehicles. However, during the peak season, the company would hire vehicles to deliver its orders. Mrs. Pash and Co. Chartered accountants were the auditors of the company for past 2 years. For the year ended 31st of March 2020, the statutory and the tax audit was conducted by the firm, and following were the observations made. Observation 1. During the year, the company had made a payment for 3 invoices of invoice 1 of 17,500, invoice 2 of 18,750, invoice 3 amounting to 11,250 to Messrs. Rent Vehicles Limited for services of hiring vehicles. Invoice 1 and 2 above, and for the wages for the drivers sent by them for invoice 3 above. So 1 and 2 are for hiring vehicles and the 3 is for wages of driver. All payments were settled by way of cash on 15th of March. That is the invoice 1, and 23rd of March, both the invoice 2 and 3 were settled. Okay. Observation 2. On 31st of March, the company had taken insurance. Value of insurance is value insured is 1 lakh for its new godown, and the premium was to be paid on the next day. However, on the night of 31st, a huge fire accident took place, and goods worth 1.5 lakh, that is 1,50,000, were lost. The company informed the insurance agent about the incident and included the loss value as receivables in its financial statements. Observation 3. With respect to the expenditure made by the company, the following were to be disclosed in tax audit report, but the management did not accept the decision of the auditor. What are those? The company had incurred 40,000 towards advertisement expenditure on a brochure or a pamphlet published by a private educational institution in Pune. The company reimbursed 18,000 to its employees who had incurred the expenditures on entrance fee paid to a club. The company had an idle land near to one of its godown. It had employed 5 farmers to cultivate rice and has made an income of 13 lakhs by selling the output. The salary paid to the 5 employees and other costs amounting to 2 lakhs were debited to the profit and loss account of the company. Observation 4. The company was operating with same share capital which it had since inspection, that is 95 lakhs. During the year, it had made a turnover of 158 lakhs, and its borrowing stood at 58 lakhs as on 31st of March, which was after settling a loan of 43 lakhs taken from SBI on 24th of March. The amount of 58 lakhs was the balance of the term loan taken in the earlier year and after repayment of installments in the current year as and when due. After completion of the above audit, the firm received the following assignments. Offer to be appointed as internal auditor of HH Limited. Offer to be appointed as the statutory auditors of HH Employees Provident Fund. Offer to be appointed as internal auditors of YY Limited, and simultaneously they were also appointed to perform GST audit for the company. To act as a financial advisor to Messrs. NBE Mutual Fund Limited for professional fee of 1 lakh per annum. The audit firm feared that it would attract professional misconduct and regulatory issues if it take up all the assignments and hence gave up all the offers. On the basis of the above mentioned facts, you are required to answer the following MCQs. Okay, hope you are clear with this case study. Let's go through the questions, MCQ questions that were given. Number 30.1. With regard to the tax audit of Kai Private Limited, what should the auditor do with respect to observation 1? What was that observation 1? That this particular company has paid some cash payments, has made some cash payments, right? Yes, here it is. In observation 1, you might have observed that all the 3 invoices were made through cash. All the 3 invoices were made in cash. However, the first and the second invoices were on the first invoice was paid on the 15th of March, and second and third invoices were made on 23rd of March. But you please note down that invoice 3 is for wages for driver, right? So it is paid to a particular person, and the value of which is 11,250. If a company has paid more than 10,000 in a cash in a day per person, then it need to be reported, right? It should be reported. And moreover, even this 17,500 and 18,750 needs to be reported if they were made on the same day, but these two were made on different dates. However, these first and the second invoices were was paid because of hiring of vehicles. I'll be just sharing you a screenshot. Check it out. See, we'll be reading out this paragraph. For the purpose of furnishing the above particulars, the tax auditor should obtain a list of all cash payments with respect to the expenditure exceeding 10,000. 35,000 in case of plying, hiring or leasing goods carriages made by an assessee during the relevant year, which should include the list of payments exempted in Rule 6DD with reasons, right? So for hiring of vehicles, it is 35,000, and for any other cash payments made to a person, it is 10,000 per day. Okay, and therefore the option here, what we need to be what we should report as a tax auditor is 11,250, which was made for wages for the driver, right? So we'll go through the options. Yes, will straightforward can go to option D, disallow 11,250 and give the details of the same under clause 21 of tax auditor. Because this is a straightforward question from tax audit report, which is our clause 21. Therefore, we need to disallow this particular expense which was made in cash, which is amounting to 11,250, and this is paid for wages of that person, wages for person who is driving that vehicle, right? This is option D. Hope you are clear. And 17,550 and 18,750 should not be disallowed because the limit is 35,000, and moreover these two payments were not made on the same day. Okay, and option A is like he need not to report any cash payments as well, as they are within the limits, which is not correct, and therefore the correct answer to this question is option D, disallow 11,250 and gave the details of the same under clause 21 of tax audit report. Okay, hope you are clear. And next question 30.2, regarding observation 2, what should be the right value to be recognized by the company as receivables from the insurance company? Hope you might have observed this particular insurance contract in observation 2. Yes, here is our observation 2. What happened is the company had taken an insurance policy on 31st of March. Okay, and on the same date a fire accident has happened and a goods worth of 1,50,000 were lost. That's fine, but the first premium for this insurance is paid on the next day. Hope you have observed this. I'm reading that particular point. See, on 31st of March, the company had taken an insurance, value insured as 1 lakh for its new godown, and the premium was to be paid on the next day. So as on 31st of March, the policy which was taken by the company is not effective. Therefore, the company should not record any amount as insurance that is receivable because of this fire due from this fire accident. Okay, but what the company did, the company informed the insurance agent about the incident and included the loss value as receivables in its financial statements. Is that correct? No. What should be the amount that should be recognized by the company? It is 0. Because the insurance policy is not effective as on 31st of March. A policy will become effective only when the first premium has been paid. Okay. Let's go through the options and finalize the one. Yes, it is obviously option A, 0. Okay. We'll continue further. 30.3. From the observation 4, you can suggest whether Caro is applicable to the company or not. What is the reason? Okay, hope you might have observed that the company has made some borrowings. In observation 4, see, during the year, it had made a turnover of 158 lakh and its borrowing stood at 58 lakhs as on 31st of March. So, this 58 is on the 31st of March. But what happened during the year? This 58, how this 58 came? Which was after settling a loan of 43 lakh taken from SBI on 24th of March. So as on 24th of March, the total borrowings for this company is 58 plus 43. Hope you agree with this particular point. It is coming to 1 or 2 lakhs, right? Is that so? No, it's coming to 1 or 1 lakhs. So it is exceeding 100 lakhs. Whenever a particular private company is brought to the applicability of Coro, then the borrowings is 100 lakhs, means 1 crore. Since this particular 1 crore, this when you need to check this 1 crore, it is any time during the previous year, right? So as on 24th of March, that is during the previous year, this particular company has exceeded its borrowings limit of 1 crore. Therefore, Coro is applicable to this company. And the reason for this, why we are saying it is this, because the specified limit of borrowings is exceeded. We'll go further. We'll check out the options. Hope you might have observed this in option D. Yes, since the borrowings of the company exceeds the specified limits and therefore Caro is applicable. Why the other three are not applicable? First option is saying no, it is Caro is not applicable, but we know that Caro is applicable. Therefore, option A is wrong. Option B and option C is saying turnover and paid up capital are the reasons for applicability of Caro, which is not the correct one. The correct option is 100 lakhs for borrowings, which has been exceeded. Therefore, Caro is applicable to this company only because the borrowings have exceeded the specified limit. Hope you are clear with this point. We'll go further. 30.4. Which among the points under observation 3 should be reported by the auditor in their tax audit report? So there are three options, if I'm not wrong, three observations that were made under option observation 3. See, the company has made 40,000 towards advertisement, that's fine. And we'll go to the second observation. Reimbursed 18,000 to its employees towards entrance fee to the club. This is straightforward is allowed under clause 21, right? Clause 21 of tax audit report. So events, third one, we'll check it out. The company had an ideal land near to its one go down. It had employed 5 farmers to cultivate rice and has made income of 13 lakhs. The salary paid to those 5 employees and other cost amounting to 2 lakhs. So even this third point is disallowed under tax audit. The second observation and the third observation are straight away disallowed under tax audit provisions, clauses. So clause 21 clearly says you need to disallow any expenditure which are specified in the list. So these two expenses, the first one, entrance fee to the club, I have even taken out the screenshot. Yes, here it is. Hope this is clear to you. See, where it is, this one, expenditure incurred at clubs being cost for club services and facilities used. So it is like expenditure which was paid by the company for all the club expenses. So according to this particular point, we are disallowing that particular expense of club entrance fee that was paid to the employees. And moreover, you can even say that advertisement expenditure is also disallowed. No, but it is not for political party. The clause 21 attracts only if it is published by a pamphlet or the like published by a political party, wherever however this particular question is speaking about the educational institution in Pune. Therefore this particular expense of 40,000 is not disallowed, and this 18,000 need to be disallowed under clause 21. But I haven't identified this particular point from the study material. Due to time constraints, I'm continuing with this video. You will surely identify this particular expense of 2 lakhs to be disallowed under the clauses of tax audit provisions. Hope if you have identified, please comment then so that I'll be commenting it. I'll comment it back and I'll pin that comment so that others will be identifying from which clause this particular point is disallowed. But with my general knowledge about this particular point, I can say that this particular third expenditure is to be disallowed. And I'm not sure about the clause, but this particular expenditure is disallowed. If you have identified that clause, please comment. Therefore, second and the third points has to be disallowed, right? And therefore, option B is the correct option for this question. We'll move forward. Does the act of being appointed as financial advisor to Messrs. NBE Mutual Fund Limited attract professional misconduct? What is the reason? Yes, it attracts the professional misconduct. I have even taken a screenshot for this point. Yes, this is from this is from our professional ethics chapter. You can go through point number 9. A chartered accountant in practice cannot become financial advisors or receive fee commission from financial institutions such as mutual funds, insurance companies, NBFCs, etc. Therefore, based on this particular point, in this particular scenario, auditor cannot be as a financial cannot act as a financial advisor of a mutual fund. Therefore, yes, there attracts a professional misconduct as per the decisions of ethical standard boards of ICAI. The firm cannot act as a financial advisor for the mutual fund company and receive fees from them. Therefore, option B is the correct option. Therefore, this is the final option for this. And option A, C, D is saying no, there is no professional misconduct, but actually there exists a professional misconduct. Therefore, they are wrong. Okay, we'll move forward. Among the assignments 1, 2 and 3 given in the scenario, which Pash and company received undertaking which would lead to a professional misconduct? Hope you have identified that there are some proposals which were given to this particular audit firm, right? See, here are those. Offer to be appointed as an internal auditor, okay, that's fine. Statutory auditors of an employee provident fund, even that's fine. And this financial advisor, we have already discussed that he cannot act as a financial advisor. And offer to be appointed as an internal auditor of YY Limited, and simultaneously they were also appointed to perform GST audit for the company. So this particular point, even GST auditor should be independent from the firm. Like it, he should also comply with the all the requirements of statutory auditor. Therefore, internal auditor and GST auditor can never be the same. Okay, so option 3, I mean this particular third assignment will attract professional misconduct. He can either accept internal audit, he can also he may accept HH Employee Limited, because these are all only options. He can either accept or reject, that's a different matter, but he can never be an internal auditor and a GST auditor simultaneously. Therefore, option, I mean the third offer which was received is will attract professional misconduct. Therefore, the answer to this question is option C, 3 only. Hope you have understood this particular question and this particular case study. We have completed all the case study from CA final, that booklet which was issued by the ICAI. If you have any queries, please comment below. I'll be addressing all your queries in a separate video. And that's all. We have completed all the case studies and MCQs from audit subject, CA final audit subject. Thanks for watching. Please do share with your friends. Do like, share and subscribe. You help your friends so that they can revise them as quickly at the earliest. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.